Hey guys, I'm Sierra from Moon Honey Doula Services, and I'm back in the same outfit because I am recording all of these on the same day. Maybe not all of them. Maybe I'll take a break. We'll see. But you're definitely gonna see this outfit a couple of times. This is one of my favorite dresses. Actually, it's really comfortable. Like it's just really soft and flowy and casual. Doesn't have pockets though. If you know, you know. So let's talk about it. How do I become a doula? This is going to be like a two-parter. Depends on how long the video is. I might break it up. So how do you become a doula? So if you're interested in becoming a doula, you first need to assess why you want to be a doula. And be clear about what a doula does, which we talked about in my last video. What a doula does and what a doula does not do. Sorry, sometimes I talk really quickly. What a doula does and what a doula does not do. Okay. I mentioned in the last clip that I was someone who came to the fold having a very specific idea about what being a doula meant, and it meant something completely different. But it was something that I loved. Like it meant what I discovered was more than I bargained for, and it was great. So, being a doula does mean that you serve. It does mean that you support. It does mean that you're going to be living an on-call life. So if you have seen every episode of Grey's Anatomy like me, you know what it's like. Except you don't make as much money as doctors. You don't have an on-call room to sleep in. And you don't have unlimited free coffee. Well, some hospitals do. You know what? Some hospitals are really, really good about making sure the doulas are fed as well. And I love it there. Okay, like it is just the most magical place ever. When you say, "Hey, can I get you something?" Me, thank you so much. But yeah, so I'm saying this to say it is a challenging position, and a lot of people look at it as a position that is not a lifelong position, which is why you'll see a lot of people do doula work for 5 or 10 years and then transition into childbirth education or maybe doula training, or because they still want to be involved, but depending on where you are, and starting a family, having a family, depending on the demands of your life, being an on-call doula may not be something that you can carry on for 30 or 40 years at a time. So, it's important that you know the type of life that you live. As a doula, unless you have an option. You can work for an agency or you can work for yourself. If you work for an agency, they usually set the price for you. There may be some leeway, and you have like a rotating schedule. So you might have clients who choose you specifically, but you may only have to be on call sometimes. Like you may have a rotation. Whereas if you work for yourself, it is your responsibility to set your own prices, do your own marketing, gain more clients, to have your own backup doula situation. And so it is totally, totally, totally two different scenarios. I work for myself. I love being a small business owner. I love it. It is one of those things where you read those memes and they are 100% true. When they said that working for yourself would never feel like work, I can agree with that. It doesn't feel like work. But when I have to do things by a certain time, even if I enjoy doing those things, feels a little bit like work. The my favorite one is like, oh, when you start doing what you love, you'll never work a day again in your life. Lies. I work 24 hours. I can't shut my brain off. My brain does not turn off. Like, it's a good problem to have. I have so many ideas in my head. Fun fact, I actually had to stop and re-record one of these videos because my iPhone storage was full. You know why my storage is full? Not because I bought the smallest amount of storage. It's because I have so many things that I've recorded and put together, and all these thoughts and ideas that I've jotted down and plans that I've made that I haven't even had time to roll out to you guys because I'm busy. But I love it. I really do. Like, I wouldn't trade it for anything. I am very passionate about supporting women. I'm very passionate about making sure that people feel powerful in their birth and making sure that they feel like, you know, their bodies were made for this, and making sure that they feel confident and in control when they're walking into their birth. So I absolutely love it. I'm sorry, guys. When I became a doula, I was considering certifying with a group called Amani Birth. And I was working in the Middle East, and the plan was to remain in the Middle East. And so Amani is a certifying organization that helps you to serve families, all families, but they're inclusive of certain cultural things that you need to learn about Muslim families. And so, because I was working and living in a Muslim country, I was like, oh, this is going to be great. The dates didn't end up lining up. And so I was like, okay, what can I do? Because I had made a plan that by the end of this year, I would be a certified doula. I was talking to one of the local doulas in Birth Kuwait, and she recommended Stillbirth Day. And she was like, I'm already certified, but this is just like another program that I did, and it was really nice. It really like reignited my love for birth. And I was like, oh, wonderful. So I went to the website, and it's a completely online course. And I was like, I don't know if I'm going to do well with online education. Am I disciplined enough? I don't know. You got to know yourself. But I really love the program. It's a program that certifies you as a birth and bereavement doula. And for those of you that don't know, a bereavement doula is somebody that supports birth in any trimester, whether that's a miscarriage, whether it's preterm labor for any special circumstances, stillbirth. It could even encompass having a preterm labor where your baby is still alive but has to remain in the NICU for a while. So I'm trained in supporting families through that difficult time. It is an extremely trying time. It is very difficult. There is no way to make that pretty. It is difficult. And it's even difficult for me to support families through that. It takes a toll on me. So if you're considering being a bereavement doula, I would recommend the Stillbirth Day program. They are very supportive. It's a fairly small company, and they are, the community is nice. I will also say, though, that it is not the only program like it. I was already certified before I discovered some other programs. There are other programs. You have plenty to choose from. But if you're interested in being a bereavement doula, we do need more bereavement doulas and more support for families that are giving birth that, you know, may result in a long stint of recovery, that may result in the loss of a child. And so, you know, it is important that we remember that that is still a birth. They are still parents. That is still their child. But if that's something you're interested in, you have to have a team. You have to have a team of people that support you, because after that birth is over, after you've given your all to that family, you need to process everything that you've just gone through. So you've been there for other people. You need to have someone to. I have one line sister in particular that I call on when I need to, who is going to be a doula one day. I'm excited about it. And she always knows what to say. She always knows how to calm me down. Not calm me down, but how to comfort me. So that's important. On the birth doula side of things, or the postpartum doula side of things, it's still service. You're still serving. And it is a very physical and time-consuming profession. So you too need a team. You need a recovery period. After my first birth, I was working with, she doesn't like when I call her my mentor, but I was working with my mentor. And she considers we were working together, which we were. We left there at like 6 a.m, and she was like, all right, let me treat you to breakfast. And I was like, yes. And so she was telling me, you're gonna have birth food. Like you're gonna develop like something that you crave after every birth. And I was like, Huh, okay, cool. So there's all these like cool little quirks and things that you pick up on. And you get really comfortable talking about birth and placentas at the dinner table or wherever you are. And it's lovely. It's a wonderful life. But you need to do some research on the organization that you're going to train with. I'm going to take a break here and say that you are now required to be certified. There is no governing organization over doulas. There's no requirement, as far as I know, in any state that says you have to have a certification to be a doula. We are not medically trained professionals. We are trained to support. I do think it is incredibly important that you get the training. And we're going to talk about training in a little bit. Whether or not you get a certification is totally up to you. I have not had any families ask for my certification. I am certified. No one's asked for the paperwork. I think that's mostly because this work is about how you make people feel. Either you got it or you don't. And I don't mean to be harsh by saying that, but it's true. This is not a profession that you can just happen into, people talk about that a lot with like teaching and like childcare. Like it's something that you have to be passionate about. And it's something that you have to want to put yourself aside to support the family that you're supporting. But as far as certification is concerned, there are some people who feel that being able to support women through birth is a birthright, and that being certified or having someone else tell you that you are now deemed, able to support someone through birth feels wrong. Okay? There are some people who feel like some certifying organizations are making you jump through hoops to get certified, just so that they can say that they are the most elite program, and it's not for anything to do with birth. It's for business purposes. So you're gonna find lots of varying positions, lots of varying ideas about certification. The choice is yours. The choice is, at the time being, the choice is yours. Maybe one day they'll change it and say you have to be certified or whatever. I know that there are some hospitals who do require that you are at least trained, but the way being a doula works is once you finish that training, you can start accepting clients. Certification is a separate thing that you do over time, and each organization has different certifying requirements. I did do an in-person training. And while I thoroughly enjoyed that in-person training and I really, really, really learned a lot, in the process of working as a doula, because I was trained and certified by Stillbirth Day as a birth and a bereavement doula. So I was working as a doula and considering whether or not I wanted to train with this other organization because it was more well known. I had to ask myself, okay, you're already certified here. So you did this other training, you learned a lot, you picked up all these great things. Why are you trying to certify in another organization just because it's more well known? Does that benefit your parents? Does it benefit you? Or is it about your ego? So I faced myself and I was like, you know what? I think that I was attempting to do that for the wrong reasons. And so I decided not to go through with it. And I think most organizations, once you do a training, it's good for like 4 years, something like that, somewhere in there. And so basically what that means is once you've done a training, as long as you haven't started your certification, that training is good for 4 to 6 years. And when you do start your certification, they usually give you like a year or 2 years to like get it all complete. And if you don't complete it, then you'll have to start over. So that's my tidbit about training and certification. Now, back to how you choose. How I chose was just doing some research, reading a lot, and even just in the last 2 years, there's so many more certifying organizations and trainings that have popped up, like so many more. And excuse me, and there are so many choices. So my advice to you is to take your time. Do not become overwhelmed. Surround yourself with like-minded birth workers. Maybe see if you can start reading some of the required reading. The required reading list is pretty much the same for most of the certifying organizations, and just really decide what it is that you want. Do you want an organization that's going to help you formulate your business? Do you want the best training? Do you want to serve a specific market? Do you want to certify in more than one type of, or train in more than one type of doula, like birth and postpartum or birth and bereavement at the same time? Are you going to do better with an online program? Are you willing to travel to attend your course? So you have lots to consider. And just remember that the choice is yours. Don't be afraid to dig deep. Do not be afraid to really look into the organization that you'll be representing if you do choose one particular organization, and make sure that the curriculum is what you're looking for. So how do you become a doula? You research. You take it step by step. You make decisions about what's more important to you and what you want, and then you narrow it down from there. Hope that was helpful. I do have a lending library program. I use it for my doula clients, so that they don't have to go and like buy 4 and 5 different books that are recommended. They can just borrow them from me and read them and return them. But I also have that system for doulas as well. So if you want to borrow a book to read through it, as opposed to, like having this many doula books in your collection, let me know, DM me, and then we can arrange the lending. I call it my lending library. We can arrange the lending and borrowing. All right. Thank you guys for tuning in. Comment below. Tell me what you think, and I will see you again soon.